I want to show you something. Look at this tree. Its bark reminds me of dragon scales. And it's that way all the way up. Just beautiful. Thought I would try a little preventative maintenance for the feet. Hopefully that'll keep down blisters. Okay, I'm leaving the lodge. I have just checked out and I'm walking across the parking lot. I have to go down the driveway a little bit to get to this portion of the approach trail, and I'll come back later. I'm so excited, nervous, fearful, everything all rolled into one. Talk to you later. Okay, this is where I start. Well, I'm successfully on the trail. Average hiking time to Springer Mountain, which is 7.3 miles, 6 hours one way. Guess I better get busy. Look, I'm coming up on my first bridge. Yeah, on the approach trail. Let's go up here and see what it looks like. Nice little bridge. Tiny little dam right there. And there, okay, and there goes the trail straight up. So I'll come back later. Okay, about half hour to an hour into the walk. It started raining, so I'm in all my rain gear right now. But I want to show you something. Hold on just a second. Look how foggy it is everywhere. Very misty. And all these little green plants are called mayapple. There's that side of the trail. Here's this side of the trail. I'm surrounded by little green plants. And if you listen in the distance, every so often you can hear a woodpecker. But of course he's not going to do it now. So I'm going to hike some more. I want to show you something. Look at this tree. Its bark reminds me of dragon scales. And it's that way all the way up. Just beautiful. Good morning. Do you hear that? The wind has howled all night long. I have had no sleep, and it is freezing cold. I only got as far as Black Gap Shelter, which is still about 3 miles from Springer Mountain. My backpack feels extremely heavy. I've got to figure out some things I can do without. Anyway, I don't know how long it's going to take me to get packed up and get on the move. I'm almost out of water, and I've been told that the closest water is about 30 minutes away. Talk to you later. It's been a few days since that last video was made, and I'm back home. It's taken me a few days to kind of come to terms with what actually happened on my attempted through hike. Um, Evidently, it was a failed attempt, but I'm hoping that I can learn from the things that happened. It started out great. I was really enjoying it. The thing that happened was that the very first water source that I passed, I had plenty of water. And then the other two not trustworthy water sources were down a very, very, very steep incline. And at that point, my legs were so rubbery that I had a feeling I might not make it back up the incline. So my first night that I was out there, I didn't sleep. A windstorm came up. It was terrible. Everybody that was in tents that I talked with said they also did not sleep any at all that night. So I only had about 6 ounces of water with me at that point in time, which was not enough water to make breakfast. And I held off on drinking very much because I didn't know how long I was going to have to go before my next water source. So a night of absolutely no sleep, of course, hiking and carrying a full backpack. By then, my muscles were tired and sore and achy. But the thing I think that got me the most was with my interstitial cystitis, if I don't have enough water, I start having a lot of pain. So I was having a lot of pain, and I've also noticed that sometimes when I'm having a lot of pelvic pain because of my interstitial cystitis, I seem to also have digestion issues. And I haven't figured out yet if the digestive issues trigger the bladder pain or if the bladder pain triggers the digestive issues. But my first night on trail, I was actually able to eat a little bit. Drank very little water with it because, like I said, I was short on water. The next morning, I did get up and start hiking up towards Springer Mountain, and came across a water source. So I filled up my water bottles. And kept hiking. By the time I did get to Springer Mountain, I was really feeling unwell. No matter how much water I drank after I filled my bottles, my bladder did not seem to benefit from it at all. And when your urine is very concentrated, that increases your pain as well. So not only was I dealing with bladder pain, then my intestinal issues kicked up, and several times I had to get off trail and dig me a cat hole. It got to where sometimes I couldn't even get a cat hole dug in time, so I had to take care of things afterwards. If you look at the last photo that was taken of me on top of Springer Mountain, you can see the bulge in my jacket because I had to keep my toilet kit handy. So I put it inside my jacket so I would have it very quickly. But after that first night on trail, when I did get water and I got an opportunity to try to eat, a couple of things happened. First of all, I had enough pelvic pain that I could not sit down. So even when I wanted to take a rest, I could not sit down. So I couldn't take my pack off. I couldn't just sit down and relax my body for a while. The pain wouldn't allow that. So when I got to the Springer Mountain shelter, I did take my backpack off and I tried to make me something to eat. Everything I tried to eat that day just would not go down. I couldn't even force myself to eat. I think the only thing I got down was one little honey waffle and maybe a chewable caramel. That was about all I could eat. And the more water I drank, the thirstier I seemed to be. I just sweated it all out. I sweated it all out and was breathing so heavy that any hydration I took in was just, it just left me as quick as it came in. And I could not take enough in to actually, let my bladder flush itself out. So I realized that none of the food I had with me was going to work. So I was going to have to get off trail and get some other kind of nourishment. And even when I did that, I could only eat a little bit the first couple of days. It took a while for my body to seem to allow nourishment. All I knew was I was getting weaker and in more pain. So I decided right after I got to Springer Mountain that I was going to get off trail. So I called a shuttle driver and he took me into the nearest town, Dahlonega, and my husband had called and got me a hotel there. And I stayed for a couple of days and thought about things and realized that probably part of the problem with my digestion was, even though I had tested trail foods to make sure they were okay related to my interstitial cystitis, what I had not taken into account was eating exclusively trail type food. And I think that's what triggered the digestive issues. If I could have stayed on trail, that might have corrected itself later. However, at the point, I just felt like I was getting weaker and weaker. And I did not want to be a burden to anyone else on trail, so I chose to get off. So I guess what I'm gonna have to do is I'm gonna have to do some shorter trails and see if I can get something worked out with food that I can take that also is not going to cause digestive issues. However, everyone that I met on trail, they were very nice, very kind, very helpful. The equipment I had worked pretty good, but like I say, a lot of people say, there were probably a lot of things I could do without. It was definitely a learning experience. I appreciate everyone that was going to follow along. However, at this time, an Appalachian through hike is not in the cards for me. If you do want to follow someone that is about of the same age that I am and is, I believe, hiking solo, I would recommend following Lady Jane's adventures. She seems to be an experienced hiker and backpacker, and she may actually get some distance in on this trail. So I will put a link to her videos below. And again, thank you everyone that was going to follow along. I really appreciate all the encouragement. But I'm hoping at this time that I can just take what I learned and go forward from there. So anyway, talk to you guys later. Thanks a lot. Bye.